This happened about 6 or 7 years ago. I played soccer for a year at my local community college, and there was a guy I got to know who worked for the athletics department. I had a 1-hour gap between classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and he started hanging out with me in the library during that time. He even brought small gifts, like chocolate, making it seem casual. I didn't think much of it at first. After soccer season ended and Thanksgiving break passed, things got strange. During winter break, I noticed him parked outside my house in the mornings. He started showing up at places I posted about on Instagram, even stores where he had no reason to be. He would also point his phone at me, like he was taking pictures. It was incredibly unsettling. After winter break, he kept coming around when my parents were at work. I called the police a few times, but they couldn't do anything since he wasn't breaking any laws. I never told my parents, knowing they'd freak out, and I still don't know what he's up to now. My hope is that he moved on. In March 2021, I moved in with my aunt and uncle to a tiny rural town in Oregon. A friend showed me how small it was. You could drive across it in 5 minutes. At the time, I didn't realize how crucial that detail would become for my safety. My best friend Haley and I, 17 and 18 at the time, often hung out at a park nearby. It was just a small clearing surrounded by woods and a riverbank. I had heard warnings about a couple of creepy guys in the area, but hadn't noticed about anything unusual during our visits. One day, while we were smoking in the clearing, I felt a tension creeping into my shoulders, like someone was watching us. I turned and saw a middle-aged man walking about 50 feet behind us. I told Haley, but she brushed it off as my anxiety. Still, something about him felt off. As we continued down the trail, the man picked up his pace. I turned to walk backward, hoping to show him I was aware of his presence. When he seemed to veer off the path, I felt relieved. But just then, I glanced back and saw him sprinting towards us. I grabbed Haley and pulled out my pocket knife as we bolted down the trail. With no clear escape route, I called my uncle, shouting that we were being chased but struggling to describe our location. He told me to stay on the line and be loud. I screamed at the top of my lungs as we reached an old metal fence at the end of the path, blocking our way. "Climb!" I yelled, urging Haley up. I tossed my knife and phone over, scrambling up the wall and landing in the gated community, startling a man walking his dog. He approached us, and Haley quickly explained our situation while I called my uncle again. Just moments later, my uncle arrived, shouting threats toward the man in the woods. The dog-walking man unlocked the gate to help us meet my uncle on the trail. My uncle had rushed through the park in his car, but he hadn't seen the man. After I explained the full story, he led us back to the car, keeping his firearm visible just in case. We never saw the man again, but I didn't return to that park. For weeks after, I felt paranoid, like someone was always following me. I still don't know who that man was, but to him, let's not meet.